and welcome to Shift Today with Allison. My name is Allison Shuhazi, and I'll be your host for the next maybe 10 to 15, 20 minutes. I appreciate you showing up for yourself today. You're showing up for yourself by listening, by watching, however you're doing that. I am filming this today for the first time on my YouTube channel, and I'm also recording this for my podcast, Shift Today with Allison. So I really appreciate you joining me today. I had recently written this piece to explain the backstory of my signature program, which is called Shift Towards Clarity. And this is such a profound story. I've shared it with some of my clients in my email list, and I have had beautiful, beautiful feedback of that they are connecting with my story. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and record this as my first YouTube video and also share it via my podcast. So sit back and let me know at the end of this what you think. Let me know if you connect with this message, if you've had a moment like this in your life. Okay, so here we go. It's titled, The Unknown is Where Change Begins. So what you create begins in the unknown. And have you ever had a moment when you knew your life was forever changed? I've experienced several things throughout my 53 years, but in 2018, I had an experience that caused me to pivot because my intuition was screaming at me to wake up and make the changes that I needed so I could create what I was meant to share with the world. It was so profound that I knew I would never go backwards again. So 6 years ago, I went on a road trip from Little Rock, Arkansas to a beautiful cabin tucked in the rolling hills of Southern Illinois to reconnect with my college girlfriends. We met at SIU in the fall of 1991 and have remained in touch and would periodically meet at various locations across the country for female time and to reminisce about days gone by. And like most dynamic women, we were all very different, but we would laugh together and cry together. Some of us got married, had kids, careers, even some got divorced. And yet the common denominator was our college memories. And some of us were tighter than others, but somehow we always stayed in touch. Now, before this particular trip, I had been trying to find an excuse to skip it, like many of the trips before. I didn't feel good about this trip. There was something brewing in my gut. My uneasiness was becoming a sinking feeling in my core, and the thought of giving and receiving anticipatory judgment pulsed through my veins. The bouquet of feelings brewed in my belly wasn't nerves of excitement, but awkwardness of courage and knowing that it was time to lean 100% into my authenticity rather than conform to the crew. Now, these women had been part of my life for almost 30 years. So why were my feelings screaming at me to get out and move on? Looking back, I realized I was ready to live free of expectations, judgments, rejection, and shaming others. I had been participating for decades in this drama of these things, these limiting beliefs and behaviors, not just in this friend group, but within several of my relationships. I was done with my conditioned self behaviors and ready to live authentically and harmoniously, not really understanding what that was at that time. So, could I have articulated how I was feeling like this 6 years ago? Nope. Why? Since that trip, I have consciously invested in myself by creating a mindfulness practice and asking myself why I made past choices because it was up to me. Why did I participate in disrespectful conversations about people behind their backs that I loved? Why did I so desperately want others to change so that I would be more comfortable? Why was I spending time with people and walking away feeling drained? And why did I think it was okay to get drunk and be an ass instead of having an authentic conversation about the fear and pain I was feeling? Why was I so desperate to get people to see and hear me? And why did I continue to devote my time to relationships that left me feeling empty, confused, and downright yucky? Now, throughout almost 2 years of constant meditation, journaling, prayer, conversations with my therapist, and infusing energy work into my daily life, I found a simple yet profound answer to all the questions above and more. And I'm not just talking about the relationship for that weekend. That weekend was just the tipping point for me. Now, the problem wasn't anyone else. The problem was me. The problem was me. I had been waiting for others to change so that I could be happy. I had been waiting for almost 50 years until I stopped and realized I had an abundance of choices, and so did everyone else. I had choices yesterday. I have choices today. And I have a choice tomorrow of who I want to be, who I want to spend my time with, and what I want my life to look like, and also who I want in my life. And again, it sounds simple, yet I was taught to worry about what everyone else thinks about my choices. And then to shift myself forward, I adopted a new tagline and mantra for my worrying. Worrying was big in my life. And here it is. Worrying is praying for what you don't want. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Worrying is praying for what you don't want, right? So if we're putting our effort into worrying about things we don't want to happen and they keep happening to us, we are fueling our limiting beliefs and our pain points, and we're not living authentically. Now, when I began making new choices, they were definitely confusing and unpopular to some, and they were still awkward and often uncomfortable for me until they weren't. Excuse me. And each day is an unknown. By getting curious about where I gained my pain points and cultivated my limiting beliefs, I've not only deepened my self-awareness, but I've also gained a greater understanding of why humans behave the way they do. When that weekend began 6 years ago, 4 of us were friends. By the end, there were only one. There's only one that I keep in touch with even today. And I do wish them well, but I don't wish them back. Now, out of this experience, I became a Reiki master, a meditation instructor, an intuitive transformational life coach, and then I created my Shift Towards Clarity program. I took all the work I did and continued to do daily and developed a process, a method almost, so that when someone else is knowingly ready to embrace their authenticity wholeheartedly, they have a process to follow that will support them as they navigate the simplicity and newness they crave out of life. How much do we sit back and crave things that we never go for? Well, I go for them now because I've learned how to work through the process of my limiting beliefs and pain points. So, my Shift Towards Clarity is my signature program. Signature, why do I use that word signature? Why? A signature represents a distinct form of identification. I was hungry to live free from my limiting beliefs and pay points. I also know what it's like to want others to change so that I would be happy. I know what it's like to crave recognition, being seen and heard. And I know what it's like to hear my intuition telling me to take the respectful road of authenticity and vulnerability, only to make poor choices and follow along with what everyone else wants me to do so that they're more comfortable, yet I am left feeling forgotten and yucky. So, the process, the activities, the methods, the meditations, and self exploration exercises are all tools I created to share with others who are done trying to fit into societal norm. like that normal role we need to follow, right? And we're taught to follow, and ready to make new choices that will bring compassion, grace, and tenacity into their lives. In 2018, I became a teacher on Insight Timer and posted a generic version of this program. I'm like, I'm just going to throw this out there and see what happens. Now, Insight Timer is a meditation mindfulness app. It's worldwide. It has thousands of followers, thousands of meditations, and teachers that teach on there. Well, within 1 year of me posting my program out there, it was short. It was not as robust as it is today. It was just minuscule. I had over 2,200 people taking my program. I mean, what in the world? What? That was crazy to me. And the feedback was fantastic, yet they wanted more. And so I listened. I'm like, you know what? I can create more out of this. I can create this into a coaching program. So I did. So I went deeper and I created a framework for personal growth and success. And success is not just in the workplace. Success is every day and our whole life. Like, what are we doing to feel like we're succeeding in our life, right? So now my Shift Towards Clarity program is a 6-month program, and you can go learn all about it at AllisonSchuhazy.com. And this past weekend, during this past Tuesday night's group Zoom coaching session, because I have one of those every week with the members of my program, and this happens almost every week now, I leave feeling excited and I am admiring my clients as I witness their weekly transformation. Why? Because they are truly investing in themselves, right? The investment is not in the program. The investment is in themselves, the direction they want to go, their livelihood. And that is the point behind why I created and chose to share my process. This isn't about me. It's about witnessing others invest in themselves. And I watch and support someone as they lean into the essence of their soul and unpack what is no longer needed from the past. They recognize where they are and how their choices are keeping them where they are, stuck usually feeling, and then make a new decision to activate their desire to walk forward with pride into the wonderment of the unknown. And we're back to the unknown. So if you're ready for change, give me a shout and schedule a connect call. I'm here. I can talk about my program all day long. I can talk about the success. I can talk about the changes, not only that I am witnessing in others, but that I am seeing in myself still today, because I use this process every day and it keeps me thriving. And that's why I want to share it with you. So give me a holler. I didn't get into coaching for the money. I choose coaching for the change because it sticks when you invest in yourself. And what you create begins in the unknown. Talk to you soon. I hope you're ready to shift today into a greater tomorrow. Bye-bye. This episode of Shift Today with Allison was created, directed, produced, edited, and written, and 100% done by Allison Schuhazy. That's me. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you would subscribe, share this with a friend, rate and or review wherever you listen to your podcasts, and just end up having a beautiful day. See you next time.